How does someone go from being a never Trump guy and someone who says that Trump is going to be the next Hitler to a vice president under Trump and one of the most loyal bootlickers that we have ever seen in politics? That's an interesting question to examine. And if you're not sure who we're talking about, we're obviously talking about J.D. Vance, who has had one of the most disturbing transformations in a very short amount of time that we've ever witnessed in American politics. This is somebody who ran as an avatar for the working class, won a Senate seat, and staked his claim as being an anti-Trump guy, only to fast forward 18 months from then and completely prostrate himself on all fours to lick the boots of the orange tyrant-in-chief. That's quite the transformation. So what led to that transformation? One of the things that we need to pay attention to is what's happening in Twitter. Ever since Elon Musk bought Twitter, Twitter has become one of the biggest disinformation swamps known to man. And it's also become one of the most active white nationalist hubs in social media. It's overrun with various shades of right-wing and white supremacist accounts. And the reason why that's important is because there is one particular account that has the ear of both J.D. Vance and Elon Musk, and that's the account Captive Dreamer. And what's interesting about the Captive Dreamer account is that this person is regularly posting all sorts of misinformation and disinformation, amplifying a lot of the stuff that we saw in the campaign coming out about violent migrants and migrants eating pets and all of those sort of things. And those sorts of comments were amplified by both Elon Musk and J.D. Vance. Now, what's interesting about this particular account is that not only do you have J.D. Vance following this account, not only do you have Elon Musk following this account, you have other members of the Trump administration following this account and amplifying its content. What's interesting is that the Captive Dreamer account has shown quite a bit of coordination with Trump officials in flagging accounts of people who are quote unquote threatening administration officials. And it's interesting that a neo-Nazi sympathizer and apologist is that deeply tied within the Trump administration. One of the things that's interesting as far as this account's backstory is that its actual handle is taken from a book that was written by a French captive during World War II, and that captive actually became an SS officer. So there's more Nazi connections with Captive Dreamer, the account, as well as neo-Nazi ties between the account and people in the Trump administration. And this is an account that regularly traffics in conspiracy theories, in anti-Semitic language, in all sorts of things that we have come to see out of the white supremacist crowd, talking about global cabals. So it's par for the course within that crowd. But what makes it dangerous is that this particular account has the ear of the administration. And this is somebody who regularly puts forth content and posts that make the argument that the Holocaust was completely made up, that it never happened, it was a big conspiracy. They actively work on not recognizing the Holocaust as an actual event. When you take into account all of these things and you filter it through the lens of the actions that the administration has taken, it's clear with the administration removing any references to DEI, erasing any culture from the history books that isn't white from the archives. And when you look at this administration and its allies actively lending support to other white nationalist parties all across Europe, it becomes clear how tightly intertwined this administration is with Nazi ideology, Nazi apologists and sympathizers. And it also explains why so many in the administration have so easily gone to the side of carrying the banner of the Nazi party. Make no mistake about it. When you're thinking about the transformation of J.D. Vance, there's a certain amount of it, which is the naked lust for power, which certainly motivates this guy. This is a guy who hasn't been able to hold a job for longer than 18 months and never has been able to get a job that didn't involve Peter Thiel actually putting him in the job. So there's one aspect of that we need to consider, but the other aspect of it is that maybe we are dealing with somebody who is a true believer and who believes that the great society, according to him, the days of making America great again, really just boils down to making America as white as possible and trying to execute the final solution that the failed Austrian painter from 1930s Germany was trying to execute. Only time will tell how much of that is going to come to fruition, but this should be a clear indication that we need to be on high alert given the nature of this administration and given the nature of the associations that they repeatedly make.